Can't plan anything. Hi, it's Todd and Erin Morning Stream at GetBartDaily.com.
The weather gods are still angry at all of us, so we're going to talk about it right after we see the morning mountain cam. Of course, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts Electric Plumbing, Heating, and Air. You can see all the smoke.
Stories coming up this morning. A little teeny crime wave.
A very tiny baby.
The Smithsonian Museum.
Yeah, epic flight from Delta Airlines. They went straight into the hurricane and came back out
They're
again.
digging up famous people.
And then putting them back in after taking stuff from them.
Their fingernails.
Have you ever wondered how long $1 million would last you here in Utah? Like how long you could live on it? We'll tell you.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you one thing about, can we see the morning mountain cam again? We were standing out in front of the building today, and as you can see at this lovely view, it's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It started with no leaves, and it's all grown in, and now it's starting to get darker in the mornings.
I
and
know.
stuff. We're watching the seasons pass, and a lady pulls up in a black pickup truck, and she points at our building, and she said, "Who's up there? Who's up there?" We were kind of taken aback.
Are you serious?
And so we were like,
how did I miss this?
because you're inside. And Brandon and I went, why? What's up? So we're being aloof, you know, and she was aloof too.
Aloof?
She goes, no, up there. There's something up there. Then we're like, ooh, she's a crazy woman. And it turns out, go back to the mountain cam, if you will, is that she noticed that there is a camera pointing at her property.
Oh, that poor woman. So she's like, what kind of freaks are out there? What are you people doing?
And we said, no, we're just...
Is this her property here?
Yeah, down the dirt, and her house is actually to the right a little bit.
Oh,
but she
funny.
didn't know the camera. She just saw the camera for a couple days, and she was freaking out, thinking that we were the NSA.
You know, the sad part is, though, it's such a letdown having to go, well, no, we're just checking the weather.
And I said, no.
And you're in the foreground. Your dirt's in the foreground of our weather.
We said, we're Todd and Erin Morning Stream at GetPartDaily.com. We do this morning thing, and then I had to describe digital to her, which I'm not good at. And then we hugged, and her dog is cute. And then that's it. So she's not being spied on, and she felt better. And matter of fact, she's probably watching the show.
That's hysterical. I
I
had
know.
no idea. I
I
thought
know.
that was just sort of like part of the office
We were like,
area space
why,
thing.
don't you like Bill? So
That
anyway,
poor woman. I don't blame her, though. I'd be
Anyway.
paranoid, too.
You want the freaking story about Delta?
Freaking amazing. I cannot believe this.
Let's go over quickly some airline stories. JetBlue limited their flights to $99,
They
which
capped
was great.
it, and then they
Yeah.
shamed all the other airlines that were charging up to
happened.
$2,200
That
for one single
happened.
flight.
And then, of course, down where Puerto Rico we're talking. Go ahead and show me that map. Because what's going to happen? JFK, a Delta flight's going, and you can see it's coming down to Puerto Rico. Follow the blue line.
Okay, I see.
Who would take notice of this? No one, except for,
Except for?
there are crazy people out there. There are crazy people out there.
Are these the
There's-
hurricane chasers?
No, there's traffic, airline people, airline aviator.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic pattern people. Now, this is the Flight Radar 24. It's a worldwide air traffic tracker, and people follow it, like Jason Rabinowitz. And so he starts tweeting the flight. And the fact is,
wow.
look where the hurricane is. It's coming from the right side, and
Oh, and there's the plane. The plane is that little tiny red thing in the middle of that maelstrom of hell.
it's going to land in that clear spot. It's in the outer bands.
No way.
Yeah, and so Rabinowitz is talking about it's not going to turn back, DL431, because it wants to pick up the passengers, because evidently they really need that extra baggage charge.
Oh, yeah.
So they're doing a good thing. So they go through, and a bunch of other Twitter guys get on, and all
They're all
the nerds.
freaking out. And they're all watching the little path.
And they're watching it go, because you can track these things. He starts talking about coming into the bands. And he says, it's got to land. Things are deteriorating quickly.
Oh, man. So, yeah, where do they get in with that?
Right. And so they're still tracking it. The conditions were rapidly degrading. And he said, I'm not sure he's going to make it.
Well, the airport was on the outer rim of where the hurricanes were.
Right.
The hurricane was still, right?
And here's the problem. They still have to get out.
That's right.
So the Delta plane comes in. It makes the landing. It taxis to the gate. It loads its passengers. Now, we've been on planes. And you sit there, and Everyone, can you please step into the aisle, out of the aisle, and put your stuff overhead? There was none of that.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Sit down. I don't care where I sit.
There was
Sit.
none of that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Crap
Because they had to get
going
them
on.
out of there too. I mean,
Right, and so they just like, boom, they got everybody. They had then announced, Rabinowitz reported, that the plane was full and ready to go. They had moved it up 25 minutes, and everyone on the flight was there because
yeah,
of
I'll
the
bet
hurricane.
they were. They're like, we're waiting. Luggage fine.
They
we
were
don't need
just
it.
jumping on, throwing bags everywhere, just getting on the plane. And the plane was airborne. Get this. Now, I know the airport's probably empty, but from touchdown to takeoff, it was under an hour.
It's usually a 5-hour turnaround or so if I'm
No,
thinking right.
no.
Yeah.
But they have to put food back on. Screw the food.
God, the captain, what a boss.
You got
I
to
mean,
put
seriously.
gas in. You've got to do all this stuff. And he goes back to JFK and he escapes
Like a boss.
like a boss.
I want to know who this captain is because he's got like a spine made of steel. I mean, that's amazing.
And it was just right behind him. It's that scene.
It's like those big science fiction movies,
Oh,
like
no, no.
Independence Day.
Independence Day,
Yeah,
Air
yeah,
Force One, taking off, coming right at you like this, and this ball of fire coming.
Just following and it just barely escapes. It's
That's
the
a
same
good
thing.
analogy. That was great.
Oh, I've got chills. That was
know.
really cool.
That was cool. Can you imagine the cheering when he took off?
Wow,
Yeah.
seriously, like a boss. And you know, like in the airport lounge, you know, he'll be sitting there with the other pilots and their ties are loosened, you know, they got a minute to relax. And they'll be all like, let's tell the cool stories. And he'll just sit back till the very end.
Aviator glasses up here.
And then he'll tell his story and they will all die quietly of shame and crawl away going, we will never top that.
That was so cool.
Like a boss. That's
And they
amazing.
got those people out who wanted to get out, and I think that's important.
You know, I thought we really had it done when we had the groundhog for Groundhog's Day, predicting spring
Right.
or winter. But no,
It's on.
there's more.
Belfast, Maine. Yeah, up Belfast way.
Well, it's Maine. We love Maine.
Yeah, and up that, and they got groundhogs. I know that, but they also have lobster. And Passy,
Can you please explain the name of that river? Come on, you're from.
Passy
You went to
Pete.
school in Maine. Come on.
where is it? Oh, yeah, it's the Passagazasa River. Try to say it. It's like Finnish.
Pasagasa,
Mm-hmm.
Wakey. Okay,
Yeah, it's Native American. A lot of Native American. I think there's 7 tribes in Maine.
this is true.
This is true. So anyway, they've
And
got
all of them wanted to be on the name for that river,
Passy
apparently.
Pete. Passy Pete's a lobster. So what they do is they have a ceremony where they take out Passy Pete.
Look at the
and
wisdom in those eyes.
They put
Look at the wisdom.
2 scrolls out. Now, the one that the lobster goes for is going to be the prediction of if fall's going to be early or will there be 6 more weeks of summer.
Okay.
And so Passy Pete went and grabbed one of the scrolls. And they went to take it and he pinched him with the other hand. It was funny.
Good for you.
And then he finally got it and they unrolled the little scroll and there's 6 more weeks of summer.
Yes. Thank you. I'm not ready for the cold weather. I'm not. I'm so happy. I don't want to.
Here's the problem.
I don't want to be a naysayer, but
Yeah.
at least with Puxatawny Phil,
Puxatawny.
Phil, we have some sort of history. There's like some sort of record behind him.
This has been
Is this
going
like a
on.
random lobster they fished out and said go for it?
No, it's well trained. He lives in a stump.
This is a random lobster.
No, it's not.
What is the track record of the random
Passy
lobster?
Pete. You know that they can live for. It's an exoskeleton. Matter of fact, you know what the scientific name? Lobster americanus. Didn't see that coming, did you? No. The problem I have is that what if it wasn't? What if early snow? What if they came out and said that? Because Punxsutawney can come out and say the weather's going to be crap, and you don't do anything about it. He's a hedgehog. I mean, he's a groundhog. But if a lobster comes out and says it's going to be crappy,
You think there's going to be retaliation?
who are you going to eat? Done. Or you get both of them have surf and turf.
What is wrong with you? What kind of a person are you?
A meat eater.
You're a
Surf and
freak.
turf. That was funny, sort of. Okay. Game Saturday, 8:30, down at that stadium. down there.
We have much better luck when it's Rice Eccles because I'm a University of Utah graduate, and
Right.
since we're media,
BYU game.
we get a chance to. We do a little bit better where we actually get a chance to go in, and I cannot believe you just did that to me. That just took
Oh,
away
you're
all
gonna
of.
find it. Okay, you find that. You know, it's funny because like on a lot of shows and stuff.
That's amazing.
A lot of shows and radio shows and stuff like that. They try to convince one of the people on the show to root for the other team, so you have a conflict. In this case, Erin went to the University of Utah, and then in the old school, they would try to force me to root for BYU. Well, it's not going to freaking happen.
No, that's not going to work. I'm sorry.
And that's fine, because actually the history of this is I had no idea there was such a big history about BYU kicking the U's ass for like 40 years.
There's this big thing in Wikipedia called they talk about the Holy War, which is essentially what it's been, and it's been brutal between the two of them. As a matter of fact, if you take a look, this was when it was the Holy War in Sin City, and as you can tell, BYU won that one and just took the field, and it was epic, and people were screaming and throwing things, and essentially through the 70s through the 90s.
Right.
BYU almost always routinely won.
Right.
And then the tide turned.
Right.
The worm has turned, my friends.
And we get 7 out of the last 10.
Yeah, and then it starts coming towards our direction. Now,
In
the
the last
University
game,
of Utah.
Oh,
That was physically painful, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh. It was like watching the Patriots come back at the end of the Super Bowl. It was crazy. So anyway, the
Game on Saturday,
game
Lavelle
on
Edwards
Saturday.
Stadium. Now, the question is this. I love their new coach, aside from the fact that his name is almost unpronounceable, which
is
makes
gr-
me like him even more. But
He is great.
and he's really charismatic and funny.
Yes.
But they had a really bad start this season.
Yeah.
They didn't get past the 50-yard line, did they?
Now this could go 2 ways.
They could be either humiliated and furious and
just-
really,
just ticked off.
yeah.
And out for blood, which most likely happens.
Well, I've based my entire career on spite, so I can completely understand wanting to do a game that way, Cougars.
Just like our marriage. So the thing I'm thinking though is that I haven't heard very much about this game. Usually there's bets and stuff. You know what I mean? There's best friends pitted against best friends.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There's stuff like that.
Oh, husband against wife.
Have
those
we
are the
missed?
worst.
Have we missed some of this? Our friends aren't into football enough, or what?
I don't know. We've been out of town.
We live.
Maybe we missed all the good ones.
We live close to Rice Eccles Stadium, and on the big games and stuff like that, I like to get on my bicycle, go up to the tailgate party, not see the game, just see all my friends. And we have bratwurst and all this incredible food, and it's really fun.
There's one group that brings a champagne fountain to the parking lot because that's epic. Anyway, but I don't know if they have the same kind of tailgate
Should we
parties
bet?
at the Y.
No, they don't have the same kind.
But
'Cause
you know
don't
what the
do
thing
shots.
the thing they have that's even more important than the champagne fountain?
What?
They have funeral potatoes. I would gladly go to a Lavelle Edwards Stadium tailgate
How
party
appropriate.
because there would be funeral potatoes.
How appropriate.
We could do a bet, but the trouble is we both want to vote. We both want to go for the U, so
Okay.
it kind of like diminishes our. We could do it by a spread, like how much they could win by.
Right. We'll work on that.
All right, we'll think of something horrifying. It'll be good.
All right. So
What are yours? Will you tell us on Facebook?
Yeah.
By the way, if you're on Facebook Live with us today, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And even if you're seeing this after the hour, which is almost everybody, please also tell us what your bets are. We'd love to know what you're betting against each other with.
All right. So we should mention since some people are going to bet and win money, or perhaps the lottery. Lottery's been in the news quite a bit.
Yeah, that whole Powerball thing.
And how long would $1 million last?
You know, because it's always been that quantifiable. If I get $1 million, I'm a millionaire. Then I'm like
set for
rich.
life.
And then you always talk to these people who have a lot of money. They go, "Oh no, I wouldn't retire with less than $6 million, and because you can't be comfortable."
I just heard one the other day.
And you
It
want
was
to
like,
bury them in a shed somewhere.
you're really going to need $2 million. And I was like, I just wanted to drive off the road and hit a big oak tree, because that's not going to happen.
Well, you know the first interesting thing, Go Banking Rates just came up with a really cool study. Here are your odds of becoming a millionaire.
Okay.
And it depends on your race. Asian
On your
Americans
race?
Asian Americans have the highest potential to earn $1 million, 22.3%.
Overachievers.
Whites have a 21.5% chance. Black and Hispanic Americans have excruciatingly unfair. They have a 6.4 and a 6.8% chance of becoming millionaires, respectively. That kind of gap is not acceptable. But let's say for a second you really did
Have
get
$1 million.
$1 million. So how do you live based on where you are, how do you live? How long do you live on $1 million?
Okay, so I'm assuming that these all have to do with the cost of living and stuff like that, and the cost of housing and things like that. So it's all kind of on a level playing field.
Yeah, now this is not going to surprise you in the slightest. That amount of money will last you the longest in Mississippi, 26 years, 4 months, but you have to live in Mississippi. So there's that.
Here's a question.
Arkansas and then Oklahoma. Now, this is interesting. Once again, no surprise. If you live in New York, you have it burns out in 17 years. Alaska, very expensive, 17 years. California, 16 years or 5 months. Hawaii was number 1. You could $1 million will only last you 11 years, 11 months.
But what a great 11 years.
This is true.
So here's the question here. I didn't hear us in there.
Utah sits on the longer end of the scale. $1 million in cash would last us here about 23 years and 10 months. We ranked 17 overall. Part of it is because we have lower utility and housing rates. So that makes the money last longer.
I have a question then.
Yes.
So most people are going to retire at what age? If you have $1 million,
It used to be 65. Now it's like 80.
but you got $1 million. So let's say 60.
But I like my job. Well, I've got a long way to go before 60, so hopefully I'll still like it by then. But go on.
So when you retire at 60, how long do you plan on living?
And well, longevity rates have extended dramatically over the last 20 years, including end-of-life care. So most people are estimating between 85 and 90 now.
So we got 24, 23 years.
And while you do the math,
Yeah.
that comes out to a little over $43,000 a year.
Right, 43,000 a
Your house
year.
is paid off, car done.
Yeah,
Right.
that doesn't make much sense. Yeah, 43.
Plus, if one of you die early, the money will stretch even farther. Oh, and men die first, don't they? And since you are my child bride. Okay. Coming up, well, what do we
Moving
have?
on. First of
Information.
all,
So how long is it going to last? I'm sorry.
It's going to last us, and this is, Brandon's right, that's at $43,000 a year. It will last us 23 years and 10 months. Let's go to Daisy in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. If you can live that long, honey.
Just take up smoking.
No. Of course, she's brought to you by Fink and McGregor, fink-mcgregor.com. If you go there, there's a 4-minute mortgage challenge. It will tell you a myriad of different options for you. Mortgages made simple. Also by Executive Transportation, our friend Marsh has a beautiful fleet of sweet Escalades, and they will take you anywhere you want to go. He's used to transporting everything from celebrities to businessmen. You can get your ride booked at executiveutah.com. And all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. There's pretty much nothing they can't fix, and they can fix it 24 hours a day because that's usually in the middle of the night when something explodes in your house. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Hello everyone, here's what's making headlines Friday, September 8th on GephartDaily.com. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including the UHP and the State Bureau of Investigation, staged a mass arrest Thursday in Salt Lake City, part of Operation Rio Grande. Gephardt Daily cameras were the only ones there when 24 people were arrested in a pre-dawn raid not far from the Utah State Fair Park. Dozens of heavily armed officers descended on the home near 915 West, 200 North around 6 a.m. Police said the residence was a known drug house. Salt Lake City prosecutors have asked the FBI to join a criminal probe into the arrest of a University of Utah hospital nurse arrested after refusing to perform an illegal blood draw on an unconscious patient. DA attorney Sim Gill called on FBI agents to investigate whether the arresting officer or anyone else in the chain of command violated nurse Alex Wubble's civil rights during the July 26 incident. Police body camera footage released last week shows Salt Lake City Police Detective Jeff Payne manhandling Wubbles while placing her in custody. Payne's now on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. He's also being screened for possible criminal charges. And good news out of Weber County, where the Uinta fire is now 85% contained and evacuees have been allowed to return to their homes. The Uinta fire began Tuesday morning, torching 5 homes and threatening thousands of others. More than 600 acres have burned so far, driven by gusting winds and temperatures nearing the 100-degree mark. And time now for the Wasatch Front forecast, where we'll see a little bit of cooling with temps in the low 90s to upper 80s the next few days, lows in the upper 60s. There's also a chance of thunderstorms, especially in the afternoons. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to gebhardtdaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
All right, if you need something fixed in your house, who are you going to call? All Utah Plumbing. AllUtahPlumbing.com is their site. Go ahead and check it out. They're Gephardt approved. And you know what's nice about John and his crew?
Why does he always look irritable when he comes to our house? It's like
no.
he almost expected you to screw something up again, isn't it?
That is his resting. That's his resting happy face.
Oh, okay.
So when he does come, they have this. The kind of a cool thing is they come in and they're going to fix it once. So they're going to be honest with you. They're going to say, listen, you've really got to fix this. The sewer line is a mess. It's misaligned, and it's going to cause you nothing but trouble. Or he'll say, you know what? We looked down your drain, and I think you're good. You know, let's see what happens over the next year or so, and we're good. They're going to fix your furnace. If there's a crack in your combustion chamber, which is not a metaphor for anything, he will not turn it back on because he knows that could be deadly to you and your family. Anyway, if you want to get some information, whether it's just changing out a toilet or replumbing your house, just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Okay, I was thinking about some of the most desirable places to live, and everyone was
Seems
thinking,
like we're talking about retirement a lot here, isn't
well,
it?
no, this could just be an adventure. Like, I'm tired of the United States. Where do I want to go? Now, for me, hands down, it would be Australia, New Zealand, and you and I actually looked at that a little bit. For some people, it might be England, or maybe you want to go back to your roots somewhere.
Not even on the
Scandinavia is pretty epic.
Not even on the list of places to go.
Really?
Number 1, Bahrain.
Really? In the Arab Emirates?
There you go.
Well, it is fancy. This is the one. Didn't they dredge out the huge waterway that looked like a palm tree?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'll be darned.
They have a lot of money.
Apparently
here's
so.
the reasons. They asked 13,000 expatriates. Last year, they didn't even make the top 20.
So what changed this year?
It makes people feel at home there. There's only one language to learn, English.
They all speak English.
They assimilate incredibly easy there. Here's some others that might surprise you. Costa Rica. Costa Rica was ranked second.
I would totally go to Costa Rica.
Third, you'll never guess. Mexico.
Huh.
Unless they build that wall. Mexico, not us. Mexico build a wall. Keep us out. They'll probably do that.
Taiwan and Portugal?
Round out the top 5. All right, so.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
let's go.
as a matter
Top
of fact,
5.
the U.S. was in the bottom third in the world.
Okay, I'm
which is
going to go.
humiliating.
Which country are you leaving to? Portugal or Taiwan?
Costa Rica.
Taiwan. Done.
Taiwan would be
Taiwan.
cool.
Done.
No, that's because you're all about the street food.
No, but not in the city. I'd be out farming. I'd be a farmer.
What am I doing? Because I'm not going out to the farm.
Being very lonely.
No, this is funny though. Have you ever talked to people who do this? They actually have this whole series of specialized counseling and therapists for people who are starting to look towards retirement and what they want to do. And they'll get people in there, and the guy's going to be like, "Yeah, Mom, we're going to sell everything. We're going to get ourselves an RV. We're going to spend the rest of our retirement driving back and forth." And his wife will be going, "You'll be doing that alone then? And whose RV? Because we're not selling the house. This is where our kids are going to come for Thanksgiving and blah, blah." And they find out that these people, they've been married 20 years, but they've had these long-held visions of what their retirement will be like.
All right.
And they never actually bothered to ask the other person. And it's really interesting. So by the time it comes, it's a genuine shock to these couples of what the other person thought their life was going to be like.
So we need to talk more about Taiwan then.
I'm totally down with Taiwan. I'm not going to.
Are you really?
I love Taiwan. No,
Oh,
Asia's
that's so
so
cool.
beautiful. Besides that, I would have a very short plane ride to Sydney, Australia.
I'll look at a map later. Where not to go? The worst places.
Yes.
Kuwait. Duh.
That's kind of a given.
Yeah. Greece.
But Greece is so beautiful, and the lifestyle
No,
is...
the financial situation of the country.
Oh, yeah,
They have been
yeah.
under. There's street protesting. They've gone under such extreme cost cutting.
Yeah, their
measures.
austerity measures have not
They
been
are
successful.
just Nigeria. They're
Well,
the last 3.
Nigeria, once
How about
again.
the United States?
We're in the bottom third. We're re-ranked.
43rd.
Really?
You want to know the reasons?
We're very pleasant, most of us.
It's not the people. It's the political stability and the cost of medical and child care.
That's actually a very good point. A lot of the countries who are in the top 10 all have nationalized health care.
Right,
So
right.
everyone
We
is
don't want
treated.
your communist free medical care. No, we don't. We want to go bankrupt paying for a appendix operation that's done in a garage by a guy named Ernie, who's got a T-shirt on. Next.
Okay,
All
that
right.
was good.
All right, for rain though, that's interesting.
Interesting.
We have
Arab
a-
Emirates.
We have a winner. We have a winner for Christopher's.
Oh, congratulations. This is, of course, dinner for four at Christopher's Prime Steakhouse, along
Yay.
with a wonderful limo ride from Executive Transportation. He treats you like the little princess you always wanted to be, and girls, you too. Our winner this week is Fred E. Fred E., congratulations, sweetie. I'll be contacting you on Facebook.
And you'll
to
be
let you
calling
know.
me and we'll go to dinner.
We'd like to have some pictures because we always enjoy taunting photos of all the food that you ate that we didn't. So great.
There you go.
If you'd like to enter to win, all you have to do is go to one of our Facebook pages. That's Get Part Approved, Get Part Daily, or the Todd and Erin Facebook page. Just drop a mention when you hear us talk about Christopher's, like, I would like to win, and boom, you're in. So congratulations, Fred E. We want to hear more about it. All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Park City Snapchat.
Really?
Yeah, Park City Snapchat police.
Wow.
At midnight.
Hello.
Arrest.
Boy, that's the thing every parent dreams of, right?
Coming up next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. Fink and McGregor, mortgages made simple. Make sure you go to fink-mcgregor.com and try out their 4-minute mortgage program. It's incredibly easy to find out whether you qualify. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at geparddaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple of years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink and McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
You know, this is a great story. And
Explain why.
It doesn't
'cause-
end badly, but it was in Park City, and the reason this is good is because of the relationship between a parent and their child and their openness about the internet. And I think this is kind of a lesson to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some parents don't let their kids have a computer in their room,
They need to be able to have supervision, or they need,
out in the kitchen or wherever. And so basically, there was a kid at 9:20 in the afternoon, and he was insinuating he was going to bring a gun to school at Park City High.
9 o'clock at night when everyone's just getting ready for bed. That's a
Right.
little scary.
And so usually, maybe kids would laugh it off, but he kind of showed them on Snapchat,
Yeah, it appeared to be a gun in his backpack, and the
Right.
message was, all will be better tomorrow.
which is a little freaky. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is what makes this cool is the lady's kid who goes to school with this guy goes to her and says, there's something going on online, and it makes me worried. Mom looks at it, she reads it, she analyzes it, and she calls the cops because of her daughter seeing something online that this kid posted.
Well, and especially primarily, this kid looks like he's in deep distress.
Right.
And something terrible could happen to him. Something could happen to other
Take
people.
a gun
but-
to school, and
Yeah.
that doesn't ever turn out well.
No, never.
Park City Police then tracked down the student and went
midnight.
in, through a profile and all this stuff, knocked on the door and asked him to see the weapon, and it was one of the soft air gun pistols, a toy. Mm-hmm. But he was going to take it,
Well,
which can get you killed, by the way.
and it's called suicide by cop. It's a passive way of attempting
But
suicide.
I'm not sure he was.
But it's possible that that's what he was going
Could have been
for.
a lot of different things.
But no matter what, there's obviously a situation here with this child. This boy needs some help. He needs some attention and maybe some work to go. Okay, what's going on with you? Let's see what you're in crisis with. And the fact that this other girl
And mom.
went to her
Together.
mom and said, "Look, this worries me," because kids traditionally don't do that anymore. So I really admired that girl.
So there's a good lesson.
Exactly.
Know what your kids are doing. Make sure they trust you enough and you share enough that they'll come to you, which is like something so hard to achieve.
I just keep thinking about the mom and dad that opened the door at midnight.
Yeah.
There's officers standing on their doorstep,
Yeah.
and they're like,
And their son's still alive,
"That's a very good
even
point."
if he was just goofing around.
Okay,
right?
now this is an update on the Salvador Dali story because I thought this was like the freakiest
This
thing ever.
makes me want to cry.
Of course, you know, an amazing concept artist, incredible, very strange. And can you show that picture of him with a lobster on his head, by the way? Because this is one of my
He's got
favorites.
a lobster on his head.
He's got
There
a
you go.
lobster on his head.
So here's the point.
Because, you know, that's how we all pose.
Here's the point. There's a tarot card reader, and she said that Dali, by the way, has his own museum, and he is filthy rich when he passed away, which he was buried there. Abel says that he is the daughter of
That she's
Dali,
the daughter.
and her mom had an affair with him, which makes her
Access to the estate.
to the money.
Yeah.
So for some reason, a court in Spain said, "Yeah, we think you're right. Let's dig him up."
And they took
Let me,
genetic.
let me just repeat that. Hey, that suspicion of you of being, because of him being your dad is so
Compelling enough.
compelling. We should dig up a dead body. And they did, and
They took DNA
they
evidence.
took
Yeah.
hair samples, they took fingernails, and they took samples out of 2 major bones. By the way, his mustache still looked cool. Show the
I
lobster
think
again.
that's the important thing, as long as the mustache
The
is still there.
mustache
I
looked
can't help
great.
but feel that Salvador Dali would be pleased just
Yeah.
to know that his mustache was still intact. It's the lobster that I find so endearing.
Is
I
there,
can't even tell you why.
is there nothing safe? It's like rest in peace, but not now.
Well, okay, I'm assuming then that there must have been wildly compelling evidence. But what have they found after disturbing his remains and I'm sure upsetting his widow and everything else? What did they find?
Nothing. He's not the dad.
Really? So they put the whole family through that, and she's like, oh, you know who it was? It was Michael Jackson. That was
That's
it. He
right.
was having an affair with my mom. So I always wonder what that they have to give some kind of evidence that's compelling enough, but you're trying to figure out what they came up with.
That you would dig a body out of the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 6 feet down. Big cement thing. Coffin inside. Secret lock.
Okay, you don't have to clarify.
Open it
no,
up.
No, you can stop now.
Mustache.
No more. Shh, my turtle dove. Shh. No more. This makes me so happy I can't stand it.
What?
And finally, they're hitting the FLDS church where it actually hurts, which would be in the pocketbook.
In the pocketbook.
And of course, you know that the fundamentalist LDS church has had a long running history of underage girls being taken as brides, usually by very, very older men.
Like
polygamous culture.
10 or 13.
Excruciatingly abusive towards a myriad of different things, the way they treat their congregations, the way they treat each other, the way, they siphon off the government. But in any case, there was one girl, Alyssa Wall, who actually took Warren Jeffs and the church to court. And she said, I was entered into an unlawful spiritual marriage, and Jeff basically was the one who forced me into it and
Right.
told my parents that this is the thing.
Right.
As she was 14 years old, and she was required to live together as husband and wife and produce children. This is also her cousin, by the way, her first cousin that she was forcibly married to. So what happened is 3rd District Judge Keith Kelly wrote, "The conduct of Warren Jeffs and the FLDS Church, as alleged herein, was outrageous and intolerable, so that it offended the generally accepted standards of decency and morality." I think
Right.
forcing a 14-year-old to marry her first cousin probably
Yeah.
hits under there. So he was also convicted as an accomplice to rape. And he's currently in Texas serving a life sentence. But the goal is that maybe now that they're unearthing more of their funds and more of their stash,
Oh, what do you award? What's the award?
she might actually get something. $16 million.
Wow.
Good for you, honey.
Wow.
I hope you collect any of it, some of it, a little bit, all of it. Good for you.
Wow.
$16 million.
Good for you, Judge.
I'm thinking Judge Kelly is like,
Nice job.
yeah. So that's the UEP trust, by the way, is worth more than $110 million.
Who is that?
The church. Their trust is called the UEP Trust for the fundamentalist LDS Church, and it contains $110 million.
Wow.
So it's not like they're hurting.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice if she got a chunk
Be
of it
nice
and
if
more
we
and more
got a chunk.
people came out.
Yeah.
Congratulations, honey.
Good job. Good job, Judge.
I know, right?
I have to tell you about this. This is the weirdest thing.
I don't understand how this even happened.
It happened
But go
September
through it.
6th. They found a tiger in a neighborhood.
A tiger.
A big, stinking tiger. That's a picture of the tiger.
Now, this is in Georgia, Henry County. He was in a neighborhood. He was eating dogs, which I guess is not, it's a
Some
tiger.
lady called 911. There's a tiger walking down my street.
He's eating my dog.
He attacked my dog.
Yeah.
So they showed
at that
up,
picture.
totally unprepared to deal
Look
with
at
a
him.
tiger. They were like, "Where's our tiger expert?" And they went, "We don't have one of those."
Traditionally, we don't have a lot
We
of those
don't.
in neighborhoods here.
And so it was in a populated area, and they had to euthanize the tiger. But the big thing, and I will quote this for you. It says, "Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Henry County Police or the Henry County Animal Control."
If you're missing an 8-foot, 800-pound tiger,
Right?
we found him for you.
Oh my God! Where does a
Well, see,
tiger?
this is the interesting thing. They went through all of there might have been any traveling circuses around. They went through all of the local zoos, anywhere that conceivably you would have had
A tiger.
an 800-pound tiger, and there was nothing. Nobody was missing anything. So their best guess at this point is that it was like an exotic trader, like a lot of drug lords like
Right,
to
right.
have that kind of.
Right.
So
They had alligators too
they're
to
get-
guard their crack houses.
They're guessing that it's something to do with that. But
Interesting.
if that's the case, it's not like anyone's going to step up and go, "That's my tiger."
Yeah, that's-
But it was just the randomness of there's a tiger. I always wonder if 911 believed her the first time when she's
Yeah.
like, "There's a tiger
Put the
walking down my
bottle
street
down, ma'am.
eating my dog."
Put the pipe down. Hey, coming up
That's
next,
random.
there is and I want you to listen to this. There is a Utah restaurant that's cooking up a storm.
We're so proud of them. More of the Houston flooding heroes.
Cooking up a storm.
Do you feel like you're like the cheesiest 10 o'clock news anchor ever
There's
right now?
a storm, and they're cooking. And they're
Do you feel like
cooking
the
up
cheesiest anchor
a
ever?
storm. They're cooking up a storm.
Straighten your tie. We'll just
Phil-
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephartDaily.com?
There was a storm, and it hit Houston, and then the guys from Moab came in, and they were cooking up a storm.
I think you should just go stand in the corner right now and think about what you've done. Right? I know. Storm. Whoa. I know. Here's the part that's really cool, though. If you've ever been down to Moab, the chances are actually pretty good that you've eaten at the Sunset Grill. It's delicious. They have this big, massive mobile kitchen. One of the reasons they have this is they're used to feeding firefighters during the summer here in Utah, in southern
Which is
Utah.
cool.
And so they've always had this big mobile kitchen, and it's specifically designed to go over rough terrain and difficult places.
3-axle.
Yeah, and so that they can do this.
Right.
Well, after hearing about the flooding and everything that was going on in Houston, they said, you know what they're going to need? They're going to need to be fed.
Food.
This is why I love John Clayton and his wife Lori. They went, okay, we're going. So they did a GoFundMe, said, could you help donate money for food? We're going to go down, we're going to cook. And here's the thing that I found that's so sweet. So they drove the mobile kitchen 20 hours to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They're down there in one of the little outlying areas of Houston. They are cooking like mad. They've served over 2,000 meals a day since they came. And here's the thing that I think is really touching. He says over half this meal was donated by the locals. He said
Right.
that people came in from surrounding areas
Right.
that hadn't been affected, and they were donating food, and they were like, we could stay and wash dishes. What do you need us to do to help?
And one of the cool things is that there might be a lot of food hanging out, but there's no place to cook it. So just their facility alone makes it, the ability to feed people makes it incredible.
This is really touching to me. She said there was one lady who came in. She was in shock. She had just gotten rescued.
No.
And she said she walked in. She didn't remember her own name. She didn't know where she was at. And I put her
Oh.
down. I sat her down and I put a big plate of food in front of her. My wife Laurie sat and talked to her until she finished eating. And she goes, I feel better now.
Yeah.
And she remembered her name.
She came around.
and started talking to one of the Red Cross workers about who she
Ah,
was.
very cool.
But see, but it's true. It's like
Power of food.
I feel stupid getting verklempt about this, but it's true. There's such a power in like feeding someone and helping them have a sense of normalcy again that makes a huge difference. So I love them. I know I'm such a sucker.
So they were cooking up a storm. Okay. Don't hurt me. Not on Thanksgiving.
On the bright on the bright side, you've crushed any sympathetic feelings I might have had, so
I
that's
know,
good.
so it broke you out of it. All right, information time.
All right, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Good Part Daily newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Go to fink-mcgregor.com. It is mortgages made simple. Executive transportation, beautiful Escalades just waiting to take you anywhere you want to go. You can book your ride at executiveutah.com. And Black Diamond Experts. Experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, my darling, what is going on?
Hello again, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news Friday, September 8th on GephartDaily.com. Millions of people are battening down the hatches as Hurricane Irma takes direct aim at the state of Florida. The storm has already killed 10 people while churning its way through the Caribbean the past 3 days. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered for much of the state, along with parts of Georgia and South Carolina. Landfall is now expected late Saturday and into Sunday morning. A mammoth earthquake off the coast of southern Mexico has killed at least 4 people and triggered a tsunami with 3 feet waves. The 8.1 magnitude quake was felt as far away as Mexico City, with the epicenter near the Mexican states of Chiapas and Oaxaca, 2 of the country's more impoverished areas. Damage there is expected to be extensive. And don't look now, but hackers have hit Equifax, one of the biggest credit reporting companies in the United States. Cybercrips swiped names, social security numbers, birth dates, and driver's license number for the 143 Americans. That's almost half the country. The breach happened between mid-May and July, although Equifax said it didn't discover it until the end of July. Equifax says it will now provide free credit file monitoring and ID theft protection for a year. So that's comforting. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
All right, Black Diamond, it's interesting. I wonder what they would be doing right now if they're in one of these storm areas, because I can actually see these guys, because they are this well trained, that they probably be like, we could take over everything. We could do all of the houses. Because really, at Black Diamond, they do everything. Electric, plumbing, heating, air, anything you need, they can do it. And the nice thing about opening your door to somebody from Black Diamond is they are all licensed and bonded, which means that you know who you're getting and you're comfortable with having this person in your house. And they're going to give you a fair estimate. They're going to do the job to your satisfaction. And the bill you pay will be exactly what they quoted you. No sneaky overages or little extra special charges that cost you more at the end, and then you're all mad when you're writing the check because you feel like you got screwed over. It's not like that. So all you have to do is go to blackdiamondexpert.com, get more information, and remember, they are open 24 hours a day for emergencies. You gotta love that.
All right, so downtown, there's so many changes going on around the homeless shelters.
Insanity.
They're
yeah.
blocking off Rio Grande Street so they can control it better, keep the drug dealers out. The people will have cards now. They're getting the services, the medical attention.
So they're doing the concentration of services, like with the 4th Street Clinic, and putting everything together.
But the problem they have now is the families. You know about this. The families.
This is one of the things that was a really big deal. Number one, the shelter was struggling hugely because they had announced all these homeless changes literally on the day they were about to start their big fundraiser for the year. So they got less than half the money they'd counted on. And as crime began to rise in the neighborhood, they just couldn't have moms and kids sitting, well, I don't think anyone should, but you can't have kids sitting outside a shelter waiting to go in.
Right.
And there's stabbings and shootings.
Right.
And I mean, they talk about the fact that the ground is littered with needles now and how difficult it is to get around. So that what they started doing is sending them out and putting them up in hotels and putting them in other areas. Now that's costing $4,400 a night.
So let me
$4,400 a night.
So basically, what they've done is they have arrangements with some of the least expensive hotels in the area, and so they have a deal with them that if they have open rooms, they'll go in and pay a minimal amount on the room, and the hotel gets a benefit of having someone paying, and they get the families off the street.
And of course, the big goal here is that, you know, with their record, they tend to be able to have a family into subsidized housing and back into some sort of stable environment where you get a key to lock your own door.
Which is such a big
Which is
deal.
everything within a week. But what they're worried about now is the amount of families they've had to be putting up in motels has gone to a record high in August. And they said, the scary part here is, and you remember how sweet Matt is, the executive director.
Yes.
And he says, our real worry now is that this is our easy season.
Right.
You know, this is when everyone else kind of has something else to go to. He says,
This is when it's warm outside.
Yeah, he says, I don't know what's going to happen when we have that first snow or that first cold freeze, and we have a flood of families who need us. So it's just beginning. So I think it behooves all of us to start putting more pressure on the state that they're going to have to help subsidize this, because these families come from all over the state. It's not just Salt Lake City.
So it's so changed in the last 4 years.
Dramatically,
It has
hasn't it?
changed so dramatically in the last 4 years that the criminal element is blown up. I mean, it's just anyway.
Well, at least they're getting started and they're trying. But anyway, if you have money to donate or you have services or volunteer time, the road home always needs somebody.
All right.
And right now, apparently, they need food and money.
Coming up next, where's the best place to raise a family? Is it here? Where is it? We'll tell you next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com.
Best place to raise a family.
Come on, that's got to be a given. We have to own that title.
Best place to raise a family, yeah.
You would think, right?
We have the nature around us. We have positive thinking people. We have a very clean place to live.
Well, they use 41 factors. This is Wallet Hub, by the way, and they use 41 factors in the analysis. And so they look through things like cost of housing, quality of education and healthcare systems,
Okay.
opportunities for recreation and leisure.
Okay.
And
Leisure.
Leisure.
Instead of leisure.
We were not number one.
Number 2 then.
No,
3.
no,
7.
no.
Who
No.
was?
We were number 19. We were that far down the list. 19.
Well, 19 out of states is
yeah, but
pretty
we're
good.
Yeah, but we're
Run up the list. Give me
We're
the
Utah.
top 5.
Actually the number one city to raise
Seattle.
a family, they said,
Des Moines.
Overland Park, Kansas. It's an offshoot of Kansas City, Overland Park.
Looks nice.
They said the quality of education and healthcare there is fabulous. Safety and crime, extremely well placed. They said the affordability of daycare, the affordability of activities and things to do with your kids,
Yeah.
vastly
Never heard
vastly
of it.
beat us.
Never heard it.
I know, right?
Yeah, what else?
It was number 1. Number 2 was Madison, Wisconsin. Number 3 was Plano, Texas. And then, of course, Seattle, because
Yeah.
Seattle's awesome. And then
But that's not affordable. Seattle's really expensive.
And then Fremont, California finished out the top 5. The only thing we did well in is we were number 20 on the affordability scale, 22nd for family fun. We're better than that.
We have an active
We
lifestyle.
have mountains and
We have
the Children's Museum.
Water slides.
Right? I know.
And,
then,
and inflatables.
oh, this is embarrassing. Our health and safety rank was 129th. That's a facial. That's embarrassingly bad. That really is.
When they say health, read that again.
No, this is for health and safety. Our rank was 129. These are cities, U.S. cities.
So it's trampoline and bounce houses. They're dangerous. That's why.
You think we should blame the bounce houses?
Yes, that's what we're going to do. This next thing is my favorite story of the week. And it's in the Smithsonian. Let me give you some background here. Back in the 1940s, there was crime as there is today. And you think about all you go to college now and you learn about solving crimes, become a detective, get the information, and all this stuff. Well, back in the 1940s, there wasn't available to everyone. There wasn't this information.
Yeah, there wasn't an FBI that actually went through all of this stuff and learned how to create matrices and do all the different things they did so that they could teach everybody else.
But
None of
what
this
they
was
did
available.
do is they hired Frances Glessner. And she was an incredible person. And she would make little dioramas. Do you remember making dioramas?
In school?
And actual 2-scale with dolls. She made crime scenes. And then the detectives...
So she would recreate the crime scene.
Look,
like
the
this.
lady's on the floor.
Look at that, though, with the little tiny... I mean, she was meticulous. The wallpaper there actually matched the real wallpaper in the apartment. All the furniture was identical. The positioning of the victim, everything was identical.
They used some real crime scenes, and others they made up, and you had to go ahead and solve. And so the student detectives would go in, and they'd peer. This thing's like a shoebox. And they would look at all the angles and stuff, and they'd say, well, that's out of place, and why is there a struggle over here? There's a drop of blood over there. And they would come up with a conclusion of how this person passed away. Now, she made all these different, she made like hundreds of these. And they
All
could,
smaller than a shoebox.
and they could travel around the country and go to different places and educate them. And right now, they're at the Smithsonian. I would so love to see that.
You know, I would too. That's the sad part. I would totally dig that. Because the detailing was so meticulous. They
just-
called her the real life Miss Marple, the crime scene buster.
And just to see, just to see it would be like, and if you could solve the crime, because you've seen those on Facebook, they put one picture up and you have to solve the crime. No, this is cool.
You have to admit that really is epic.
That is really
And
cool.
it's because people were saying, why would you put that in the Smithsonian? And I'm like,
Right.
something that perfect and that tiny and you've rendered it, that is art. I mean,
And a woman in 1940.
I love that. And I
That's
love that it was
so
her
cool.
because, I mean, there wasn't a lot of women in law enforcement, let's be honest.
Dollhouses where death happens.
Apparently so. Okay,
That's
just a
amazing.
quick note. I love the Killers because they're from Utah, so I have to love them automatically, but I love them anyway.
The band.
Brandon Flowers, the lead singer, posted this.
Oh, geez.
He says, this is what happens when you use the back wheel brake when you're going downhill really, really fast. He was quite proud of himself,
He
actually.
just dumped his
So-
car?
no, that was his bike. So he had a massive bike. Just took his
Slid
face all
out.
across the concrete.
Slid out, and there you go.
So he just basically said, if you see me in the concert in the next couple of weeks and I look a little
Right.
banged up, that's why.
Was he wearing a helmet?
I don't know. I didn't see anything on his head, though, so maybe it just...
I don't know.
Anyway, we're sorry, Brandon.
We
I
need
hope
a
we get better
diorama
soon.
of that so we can solve the mystery.
Now, this is the fun thing. I love some of the people, well, I like everybody we work with, but some of the people I'm really fond of. One of them is Lisa, and she's our sales director, and this woman
She's
works
nice.
in a ridiculous amount.
By the way, if you want to advertise, she's the one to talk to.
Yeah, or if you'd like to sell for us, she's the one to talk to. But in any case...
Or if you have muffins, you talk to us.
yeah, the muffins would come to us.
Or lobster rolls.
Yeah, like those ones from Park City.
Back to the subject.
Okay, well, you got me distracted on the lobster. That's not my fault. I'm the victim here. In
Go.
any case, Lisa and I were doing a sales call up at Red Butte Gardens, and I'm hoping that I actually didn't annoy Bryn, the marketing director, because we've gone there for our whole lives. And
hundreds
so
of times.
I kept trying to show off all my knowledge, and I'm sure she wanted me to shut up, but we literally took Lisa all over the entire gardens
She had
area.
been there.
No, and it's freaking huge. You
And
know
they
how big it
added
is.
a whole new part to
And
it.
she was so cute. She was taking pictures like a tourist, and she goes, "I know I
Right.
look like a tourist, but it's really pretty."
Right.
And so at the end, we were both sweating profusely because we were both wearing nice clothes, and neither one of us wanted to admit that we were sweating profusely in front of
Right.
the client. So we were sitting on the stone wall in front, just talking for a minute, and I looked behind her. Now, Lisa is deathly afraid of snakes.
Oh, I even know this. And
Now,
I haven't even known her that long, but it's come up like 4 or 5 times in conversations.
So if you want to show the pictures, there is a snake that's oozing. Now you can't really
Wait,
see
wait.
her hair very well.
Is he in there?
Yeah, but he's very disguised. I'm very
Oh,
disappointed.
he's a good snake then.
Okay, now this is the
Oh,
stone
on
wall.
the top- on
She's
the top of the
literally-
picture.
She's literally sitting like a foot away from him. You see his little head poking out?
Yeah.
Now, the gopher snake is not waiting for anything. And if you've done this before,
You're a gopher.
I'm not always sure whether it's a gopher or a rattlesnake.
You're a gopher.
So I'm looking at this thing starting to ooze. And you can
Look
keep
at the
going.
body on the floor, on the ground. How
This-
long is this?
So I'm looking
Look,
at it.
it's still on the leaves down
and
below.
and she's looking at me, and it's literally a foot away from her.
And
I'm
she
like,
doesn't know?
And you can't just go, "Oh my gosh, there's a snake! You want to get up?" Because they're gonna freak and they're gonna wet themselves.
Right.
I mean, so
and,
I said,
and so won't she.
so I said, Lisa, why don't you just come up and stand over here for a minute? I don't
Right.
want you to get upset. And she's,
What?
what? And so I could put her behind
Oh
me.
my gosh!
And then I turned around and said, you had that snake right next to you. It was 4 feet long.
Gopher.
And even then she gave out the Nelly scream and started jumping around. And I was like, I'm really glad I didn't tell you when you were sitting next
No
to it.
kidding.
But, I think he just wanted to visit, have a little chat with her.
Have a little Lisa.
Yeah, possibly, because he's 4 feet long. He could have wrapped around a few times.
That's a gigantic snake.
But see, you're usually the one who's really calm in situations like these, and you know the right things to say. I'm always the one who's going, "Snake, you gotta move," and then, of course, causing hysteria. You're usually the one that's cool. So I kind of was proud that I actually
You did a
got
good
her
job.
up and moved over
Yeah.
before I let her completely lose herself and scream and Nelly.
That was a good call. Good call. Hey, well,
He's
anyway,
a lovely snake. Red Butte Garden is gorgeous.
thank you for being
Perfect
with us
time to
this
visit.
week on the Todd and Erin morning stream. And have a great weekend. And we will see you Monday. And for all the people in Florida, we're thinking about you. We'll see you Monday.